The darkest secret is often the one that is plain to see. Imagine a glass house where everything looks perfect on the outside. Have you ever wondered what might be hidden inside? In the United States, every year it is revealed that 4.4 million cases of child neglect are not just statistics. They are live stories like that of McCann. The question that begs to be asked is, could a facade of perfection mask a dysfunctional reality? Today, I promise you will see beyond appearances and discover what was really going on inside the McCann home. I remember one night when, after a chaotic day, I left my youngest son playing alone for longer than I should have. When I finally returned, he had fallen and hurt himself. The guilt weighed heavily on my chest, and I wondered what could have happened if it had been something more serious. It made me think, am I really present in my children's lives? Recent research, such as that published in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry in 2023, shows that parental neglect can lead to lasting emotional problems. It seems that we often ignore signs in the name of false peace of mind. And I'm not the only one who struggles with this. It's a universal dilemma, a constant dance between the desire to be a good parent and the reality of our flaws. When we understand the consequences of ignoring small signs, we realize that the impact can be devastating. But we don't have to be held hostage by the past. A friend of mine, after a wake-up call, decided to change her routine with her children, introducing daily moments of real connection. And the transformation was palpable. Her children blossomed with confidence and joy. Imagine the difference such a change can make. Failure to act can perpetuate a cycle of neglect, but there is a path to recovery. The time is now, and the urgency is real. And so, as we begin this journey, the first layer of glass begins to shatter. The truth, even when it hurts, is the only thing that sets us free. Ready to see what was hidden beneath the McCann's surface? It's just the beginning of a revelation that could change everything you thought you knew about perfect families. When we look at the McCann family, it's easy to fall into the trap of seeing only what's presented to us. A glass house, remember? The shiny, perfect surface. But when we get closer, the cracks become evident. Let's expand that analysis. In the United States, the 4.4 million cases of child neglect reported annually are not just numbers. They represent family environments where children are often invisible. The uncomfortable truth is that these statistics are reflected in many families, not just the McCanns. Have you ever found yourself ignoring a minor discomfort, telling yourself that it's nothing? Perhaps you felt something similar when a friend shared a concern about their children's behavior, something you chose to downplay. With the McCanns, reports indicate that even before the fateful trip, there were warning signs. Witnesses speak of children frequently left in the care of others while their parents prioritized social activities. This behavior not only created an environment of vulnerability, but also normalized parental absence. As John Bowlby highlighted in his attachment theory, emotional absence from parents can have profound consequences. Consider a real mother I met. Let's call her Sarah to preserve her identity. Sarah worked tirelessly to support her family, often leaving her children in precarious care. One day she received a call that no parent ever wants to receive. Her son had been missing for hours. Fortunately, he was found, but the scare forced her to reevaluate her priorities. She realized she had been overlooking small signs, dropping grades, isolation from friends. Sarah decided she could no longer ignore these clues. She sought help, adjusted her routine to include more quality time with her children, and little by little, the family dynamic began to shift. Her choices were difficult but necessary. How many of us find ourselves in similar situations where ignoring signs can have devastating consequences? The root of these problems often lies in our own misguided perception of what it means to be an ideal family. We are led to believe that as long as everything looks fine on the surface, everything is in order. But as Jean-Paul Sartre reminds us, this is a form of bad faith, a self-deception. Studies show that parental neglect is not just a matter of not being physically present, but also of not being emotionally available. A 2023 study published in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry reveals that children who experience this type of neglect have greater difficulty developing secure attachments and may face long-term emotional and behavioral problems. And so we come to the crucial point. If we continue to ignore these signs, what will happen? Imagine a year from now, if nothing changes, the small problems that seem insignificant today could become uncontrollable monsters. Neglect is not just a crime, it is a moral failing that resonates deeply in our collective conscience. Are we willing to accept this reality? Or will we take action, like Sarah, and change the course of our history? The question is not just what happened to Madeline, but what could have been different? And that's where you come in. What will you do with this information? Are you ready to look at your circumstances with a more analytical and honest eye? Perhaps you have already been through something similar, where a change in perspective could have made all the difference. The journey to understand and resolve these destructive patterns is long and sometimes painful. But as with any journey, the first step is the most crucial. You may need support, new strategies, or a community that understands your challenges. And that is the community we want to build, where no one feels alone, where we can learn from each other and share effective tools and methods. Considering all this, I ask you, are you ready to break your own glass to see beyond the appearances in your life? Because the real dark secret is often the one that is plain for all to see, waiting to be revealed. What will you do with your revelation? As we delve deeper into the cracks in the McCann facade, we arrive at a revelation that could change everything we thought we knew. The real question isn't about the night Madeline disappeared, but what happened before that. The family was caught in a dangerous cycle of neglectful behavior. The main revelation: it's not just about what we do, but what we fail to do. A 2023 study in the Journal of Child Psychology and Psychiatry tells us that neglect, that constant absence, can be just as harmful as abuse. Surprised? The insight here is that emotional neglect creates a void that often goes unnoticed, but can have devastating consequences. Now, how do we fix such an ingrained pattern? We need to make the invisible visible. The first step is to recognize that presence is not just physical, but emotional. This requires us to be truly attentive to our children's needs. Second, establish a daily routine of genuine interaction, no matter how small. A practical example is a community school that transformed student behavior by implementing presence hours, where parents and children spend at least 15 minutes of the day discussing any topic that interests the children. Finally, use tools such as family emotion journals, which allow each member to express their concerns and joys. These 3 steps, when practiced consistently, reveal that real change is simpler than it seems. Let's validate this approach with a real-life example. Consider the case of Laura, a mother who found herself stuck in a cycle of work with no time for her children. After recognizing the warning signs at school, she decided to implement simple changes. With the support of a social intervention program, Laura began to apply the steps mentioned above. In just 3 months, teachers noticed a marked difference in her children. Their grades went up and they became more engaged and confident. The data was clear. 80% of program participants reported significant improvements in their home environment. The before and after transformation was impressive and brought to light the power of a seemingly simple solution. So how can you apply this right now? Start with a simple exercise. Take a moment today to ask your child something you've never asked before. This small step can open doors to deeper, more meaningful conversations. The difference can be felt on the very first day, when a child realizes that attention is truly focused on them. This is the micro-climax we promised, a tangible change that can start a cycle of growth and connection. And now, as you reflect on your own family dynamics, consider, what signs may you have overlooked? Every family is a glass house, and it's up to us to decide whether we want to keep it fragile or fortify it with love and attention. That's the question that drives us forward as we explore further what it really means to protect those we love. To turn the revelation from the previous block into practical, concrete actions, let's dive into the specific steps you can take to ensure that your glass house becomes a space of true transparency and emotional safety. First, start with a daily commitment to emotional presence. This isn't just about being in the same physical space, but really engaging with your children. Set aside at least 15 minutes each day, to actively listen to their concerns and interests. Use the Parent Queue app for reminders and conversation topic ideas. For the first 7 days, focus on establishing this routine. It's a small but powerful investment. Implement the use of a family emotion journal. Set aside 1 night a week for each member to write about their experiences, joys, and challenges. Not only does this promote self-expression, but it also allows you to spot patterns of behavior that may need attention. Use Day 1, a digital journaling app that makes it easy to organize and reference these entries over time. Within a month, you will begin to identify emotional trends that may go unnoticed in the daily rush. The third step is to create a safe environment for difficult conversations. Establish a safe space at home where anyone can talk about anything, without judgment or reprisal. Use moments such as family dinner for these discussions. Tools such as Table Topics Family Edition can help start conversations. Over the course of 3 months, this will build trust and encourage open and honest communication. In addition, attend mindful parenting workshops. We often think we know enough, but these programs offer new perspectives and techniques. Sign up for an online course such as Positive Parenting Solutions and dedicate a few hours a week to it. In 6 weeks, you will see a noticeable difference in how you handle family challenges. Finally, get involved in community activities that promote awareness of neglect. Join local or online groups such as Embrace Families, which offers support and resources for parents. This not only broadens your understanding, but also creates a support network. Set aside 1 weekend per month for these activities. However, even with the best of intentions, mistakes can occur. A common mistake is underestimating the importance of consistency. By failing to stick to the routine, you lose your children's trust. To avoid this, set reminders on your calendar and treat these commitments as non-negotiable. Another mistake is not respecting the safe space model by criticizing or interrupting when someone is speaking. If this happens, apologize and reaffirm your commitment to active listening. Finally, resistance to the emotion journal is possible, especially with older children. If you notice resistance, introduce the concept in a playful way, perhaps by sharing your own entries. Use the prompted journal for ideas that encourage creative writing. To measure your progress, observe the frequency and quality of interactions. 3 metrics can guide you: reduction in family conflicts, increase in meaningful conversations, and improvement in emotional well-being perceived by family members. Initial results can be noticed in about 3 months, but to speed things up, stay up to date with relevant parenting content. An advanced tip here is to use the 3 daily thank yous technique, where each member expresses gratitude for 3 things, promoting a positive and receptive environment. This can be done daily, preferably before bedtime, to end the day. On a positive note, once you have mastered these fundamentals, expand your results by broadening your support network. Consider joining parenting support groups, such as Mom's Club, which offers regular meetings and discussions. This collaboration can bring new ideas and reinforce your commitment. As you see how small steps lead to big changes, the sense of accomplishment will be immense. And as you prepare for this next chapter, remember, true transformation happens when we are open to learning and continually adapting. The journey continues, and the impact of your actions today may very well be the foundation for a safer, more loving future for your family. Look back. Think about everything we've been through together on this journey. In the beginning, there was just a glass house, shiny on the outside, but full of cracks on the inside. You, like me, may have been confronted with the uncomfortable truth that apparent perfection often hides dysfunctional realities. I remember when, in the silence of the night, I questioned my own failures as a parent. That guilt I mentioned for leaving my son unsupervised is still a painful reminder of how we overlook small signs. But that reflection, that courage you had to face your own truths, is the first step toward transformation. And here we are together, more aware, more attentive, and ready to take action. Now imagine your life transformed, where every interaction with your children is a moment of genuine connection, where the glass house becomes a home of transparency and emotional security. Visualize mornings beginning with a sincere hug, evenings ending with laughter and shared stories. This new reality is not just a dream, it is a tangible future that you can achieve. With every small gesture of attention and presence, you are shaping not only the present but the future of your children, a future filled with trust and love. And that positive urgency to make a difference now is what drives us forward. I want to ask you, what is the small sign you have decided to no longer ignore? Share your story in the comments. Your testimony not only validates your personal journey, but also inspires others to follow the same path of transformation. Together we form a community of vigilance and care, a safe space where we can learn and grow with each other. By sharing, you not only connect, but you also become part of something bigger, a network of support and understanding. And in return, I promise that we will continue to provide content that helps you every step of the way. Please consider supporting this work through Super Chat. Your contribution is an investment in the ongoing pursuit of truth and the creation of more content that makes a difference. With each contribution, you are helping to keep this community alive and expand our reach, bringing more awareness about neglect and family care. And don't miss our next video, where we'll explore the hidden signs that can save a life. I promise it will be an indispensable revelation for anyone who wants to protect their loved ones. Remember, what is in plain sight may be the most hidden. This phrase is not just a reflection, but a call to action. Let's work together to turn this perception into reality. But before we close, I want to leave you with one last truth to anchor everything we've discussed. The transformation we seek is not about achieving perfection. The glass house will never be unbreakable, and we, as parents and human beings, will never be infallible. True change lies in replacing the facade of perfection with the courage of vulnerability. It's about admitting that we don't have all the answers, that we make mistakes, and that we need help. That moment of guilt I felt was not a sign of failure, but an invitation to be better. Neglect thrives on silence and isolation. Connection flourishes on honesty and openness. Think of the journey we have taken not as a judgment on the McCanns or on ourselves, but as an awakening. We have awakened to the truth that emotional presence is the most powerful form of protection we can offer. We awoke to the fact that the little signs are actually the silent language of our children, asking to be seen and heard. This is not a burden, but a privilege. It is the privilege of being able to shape an environment where safety is not an assumption, but a daily reality. This journey also teaches us about collective responsibility. The 4.4 million cases of neglect are not problems of isolated families. They are a symptom of a society that often values appearance over substance, productivity over presence. By strengthening our own family, we are sending a wave of change to the community. Every glass house that becomes a transparent and safe home contributes to a more attentive neighborhood, a more supportive school, and a safer world for all children. So as you move forward, carry this mission with you. The mission to look beyond the surface, to choose connection over convenience, and to turn blame into constructive action. It's not about eradicating all flaws, but about committing to the ongoing process of learning, growing, and loving more consciously. Your personal journey of breaking your own glass house is the most revolutionary act you can perform. The darkest secret, the one that was plain for all to see, was not the neglect itself, but our silent complicity in ignoring it. Today, we choose to no longer be accomplices. We choose to be guardians, and that choice made today and renewed every day is what truly defines the legacy we will leave behind. Stay alert, stay present, and see you on the next stage of this essential journey.